The Traveller's League Book 1 The Timepiece, written by Nick Goss. Strangers and Travellers. Bell rang and a flood of kids burst out of Granville Elementary and Middle School. It was the last bell they would hear until they came back after summer break. A tall 10-year-old boy adjusted his backpack and lumbered to a crosswalk, where a crossing guard halted traffic and led a group of kids safely across the street to the city park. The boy's bright blonde hair was unkempt. He didn't have a hat with his favourite sports team on it like the other boys. He didn't care much for sports anyways. His red collared shirt was plain and his blue jeans were off-brand. He didn't wear designer clothes like the other kids, and his shoes were just plain old white tennis shoes. Hoops tried to act like none of that mattered and caught up to a group of boys from his class and listened as they bragged about how they would spend their summer. "We're going down to Florida again, going to Disney World. My little sister has never been, so," one boy casually boasted. "That's cool. We're going to Hawaii next month. I think my dad is going to take us scuba diving," the other boy said. "What about you, Hoops? What are you doing this summer?" "My mum and I will probably just go to Washington DC, see the Capitol, meet the President, maybe fix the whole country. Nothing huge." They all laughed together. "But seriously, what are you going to do?" "I don't really know," Hoops lied. "My mum won't tell me." The truth was, Hoops' mum worked 2 jobs and didn't have extra money for vacations. It was all she could do to keep them in a nice part of town, near a good school. She was a great mum, but Hoops was embarrassed that they were poor. "I hope you guys have fun. Let me know when you get back so we can hang out before school starts." Hoops hoped they'd come back soon and they'd be the same. The last day of school is weird like that. Friends say goodbye, secretly hoping they'll still be friends when they meet again in the fall. They hope they won't have changed too much from the travels and adventures of the summer. When they got to the middle of the park, the boys all said goodbye to each other and went their own separate ways. Hoops was alone, but his apartment was on the other side of the park, just across the street. This was his favourite part of the day. He loved messing with the pigeons as they waddled around the big fountain in the centre of the park. He stopped here to sit on his favourite bench while he daydreamed about a more exciting life. Pulling out an extra corn dog he'd taken from school, he fed his feathered friends. It was easy to lose track of time, and his mum would start worrying about him if he didn't get home by 6:30. So, after the pigeons were fed, he jumped up from the bench and headed home. Just then, a boy's voice called out to him from behind. "There you are. I've been looking all over for you." The boy was tall and skinny with short red hair. He was at least a couple of years older than Hoops. "Who are you?" Hoops replied. "Do you go to my school or something?" "No, you don't know me, but I know who you are. Well, kind of. I know who you will be." The boy smiled as he talked. "My name's Pete Smith. Friends call me Smitty." The boy extended his hand for a handshake, and as he did, Hoops noticed a gold medal hanging from a red and white striped ribbon. It was pinned to his shirt just above his left pocket. Hoops's mum had warned him not to talk to strangers in the park or anywhere for that matter. Even though this Smitty was a boy, he was an older boy, and he was still a stranger. "I'm not sure what you mean, but I've got to get going. My mum will go nuts if I'm not home by 6:30. She's probably already looking for me." "Ha!" Smitty shouted. "That's so funny when you said 6:30. I knew I found the right kid. Look, I know that doesn't make sense yet, and this all sounds weird, but I have something I'd like to give you." Out of his pocket he pulled a small rolled up piece of paper like a scroll, tied with a red ribbon and sealed with a blob of red wax. The wax seal had the letters TL stamped on it. Smitty handed the scroll to Hoops. "Don't break the seal and read the scroll until you get home," Smitty said. "What is it? Some kind of coupon, or like an invitation to a birthday party? Smitty smiled again. It's the code. The Traveller's Code. Hoops was still suspicious and a little scared, but he took the scroll anyway. Thanks for the weird note, I guess, Hoops said as he turned to walk away. Wait, I haven't given you the rest of it, Smitty said as he laughed. This is the best part. He reached in the other pocket and pulled out an old pocket watch. He opened it and set it to 1 o'clock and handed it to Hoops. Don't wind it up until you get home and read the Traveller's Code first. Hoops reached out and took the timepiece and looked at it closely. Hoops tried to figure out why he was being given a gift by a strange boy. So, you're just giving it to me? Why? Because I have to. It's my last mission. Smitty looked a little sad. And it's chosen you to be next. Next? Hoops was confused, curious, and excited all at once. The next what? He said as he looked down at the timepiece in his hand. You're the next traveller, said Smitty. 1,000 questions raced through his 10-year-old brain, but when Hoops looked up, Smitty was gone.